Okay.
Yeah.
We are live.
All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Jessica Verasas. I'm the Assistant Director for Transfer, Recruitment, and Evaluation at UC Riverside. And I'm here to share a little bit about the UCR campus, some programs that we have to offer, resources that we have for transfer students, and to talk about the transfer admission process to our campus. To get started, so to introduce UCR, we are one of 9 undergraduate UC campuses, 10 total in our system. And I like to call us the middle child of the UC campuses. We're not the first UC campus that was established, but we're also not the youngest. We're right in the middle. But within the University of California, we're one university, but 10 different campuses. So we consider ourselves sister campuses. And within that, we're like a family. So every campus, we may offer a lot of the same programs, a lot of the same majors, but maybe even within those different campuses, there might be some variations. And just like siblings, we all have our own personality, our own vibe on campus. And at UCR specifically, we like to think of ourselves as unique, as committed, and real. We're unique. We're super friendly, supportive campus. Once you step on campus, hopefully once this COVID environment passes and you're able to come and visit our campus, you'll find that it's super friendly. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I was a transfer student. I transferred from a community college in the Coachella Valley to UCR. And as I was making my decision, when I actually had a chance to visit UCR, that was one of the things that I noticed, that everybody was friendly on campus. You can walk anywhere on campus and stop to ask somebody a question or for directions, or even in class as students, somebody's always willing to help. And that was one of the things that really drew me to the campus. In addition, we're dedicated to diversity, and that kind of correlates with our real and our culture of inclusion. We pride ourselves on being inclusive on our campus, on being one of the most diverse campuses in the UC system. Where that means when you go to campus, you'll find people that look like you. And so we have all of those opportunities at our campus, not only for that there to be diversity, but for you to feel like you have a home, you have a place, and you find somewhere where you're able to belong. We're committed. We are, again, part of the UC system, and being part of the UC system, we focus on research. In addition to teaching, our faculty are required to conduct research in their field. And we have lots of prestigious faculty on campus that have done really impactful research. And as a UC student, you have the opportunity to participate alongside with those faculty on their research projects. But even beyond that, if there's something that you're super interested and passionate about, you can even do your own research as well. So to focus on our academics and our programs. So of course, you're looking to transfer, you may already have your major in mind. And so how does that translate and correlate to UCR? What programs of study can you follow at UCR? So we have over 150 majors and minors on our campus, and we organize them by college and schools. So we have our Barnes College of Engineering, which houses our engineering and computer science majors. Our College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Science, that's our largest college. It houses our majors ranging from art to history to political science, economics, psychology, sociology. All of those types of majors are within the College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Science. Our College of Natural and Agricultural Sciences houses our science and math majors. So majors like biology, biochemistry, math, statistics, environmental science, those types of sciences are within the College of Natural and Agricultural Sciences. Our Graduate School of Education, it might be a little bit confusing at first because you think, oh, graduate school, but it does actually offer an undergraduate major. The major is Education, Society, and Human Development. So for any of you interested in going into an education field, that's a great path to consider. Whether you want to go into teaching or maybe counseling or stay in the administrative side of education. Within that major, there's different concentrations where you can focus on community, policy, and social justice, or maybe if you want to go along the route of behavioral studies, you can really tailor that education program to match what it is that you want to do long term. Our School of Business is our most popular school, and it houses our most popular major on campus, which is business administration. We're one of 3 UC campuses that offers a true business administration major. You may find similar majors at other UC campuses like business economics or economics, but in terms of a true business admin major, we're one of the few UC campuses that does actually offer that. And our School of Public Policy also houses one of the few undergraduate public policy majors with lots of different concentrations. So if you're interested in going into a field that focuses on policy like government, you can focus on lots of different areas like like medical policy or even environmental policy, social policy. Again, you can really tailor that major to what your interests are. And lastly, I always like to highlight our School of Medicine. Even though it's not an undergraduate program, it is an MD graduate medical school. There are lots of pipeline programs for our undergraduate students to get to that next step of medical school, if that's something that you are interested in. And some of those pipeline programs include our Thomas Hayter program, where we reserve 24 seats out of every incoming class for UCR students specifically. So what that does for you is it actually increases your chances of getting admitted. So instead of competing with students from across the nation, you're actually only competing with UCR students for those seats, and it can actually double your chances of being admitted to the School of Medicine. And even within that program, we have our early assurance program. You can think about that program like a tag program for our medical school. You can guarantee yourself a spot as long as you meet all of the requirements. It is pretty rigorous and pretty competitive. We usually save about 3 to 5 seats for early assurance students. But if you're selected and admitted through early assurance and you have not completed your MCATs, which MCATs are the entrance exams for medical school, you actually don't have to take your MCATs at all, which is a huge relief because MCATs really take up a lot of that preparation for getting into medical school. So if you're considering that as an option, definitely consider our School of Medicine. So I was talking earlier about opportunities for research and how UC is unique within the research field. So I mentioned that our faculty all conduct research related to their field. For example, you can see on the screen, UCR discovers the first effective treatment for a citrus destroying disease. If any of you remember a few years back, there was a disease that was really devastating citrus crops across the country and especially in Florida. And our researchers at UCR found a treatment for that disease to cure those crops and to bring them back to life in order to produce, citrus crops. In addition to that, we have also created and done research on parasite infestations revealed by tiny chicken backpacks. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it looks like little backpacks that are kind of put on chickens to figure out how parasites infest chickens, apparently. And so those are just a couple examples of some of the projects that we've done. But research really ranges not from, what you see on the screen of, microscopes and test tubes and labs, but if you're even a dance major or a sociology major, a psychology major, you can do research in any field. And as an undergraduate student, as a transfer student, you can get involved in that research right off the bat. Whether that's working with the faculty member or, as I mentioned before, creating your own research project and working with a faculty mentor to help you through that process. That's, again, what makes the UC experience as an undergraduate student super unique. So transitioning, aside from the amazing programs that we have and the research opportunities that you have, I do also want to highlight the importance of academic success and resources and opportunities that we have, because not only do we want you to come to our campus and transfer to UCR, but we also want you to be successful once you do. As I mentioned, I'm a transfer student, and so sometimes it can be a little bit of a shock of transitioning from a community college to a UC, not only just going from one campus to another and going to a whole new school that's a larger campus, but learning how to navigate it, learning how to navigate the resources, where to go for help, Those little things that you got used to at your community college, you have to relearn again once you transfer. And so at UCR, we want to make that process as easy and as smooth as possible for our incoming transfer students. So we do have programs like transfer peer mentors that are in different departments across the campus. So whether that's a BCOE, which is our engineering college, if you want to have a peer mentor that's also an engineering student that was also a transfer student, to really help you navigate through that process and what it's like to be an engineer and to be a transfer student engineer on top of that, you can connect with somebody that's gone through your experience, and that's definitely impactful. Our CHAS, Transfers First program, has a 2-unit transition course that you can take your first quarter at UCR to help you again navigate the ins and outs. So if you've ever taken a counseling guidance class at your community college, you can kind of think of that class as a little bit of the same thing. You have TAs that are second year transfer students that will also help you navigate that process. Veteran Resource Center. So if you are a veteran or military affiliated and you want that support of other veterans that were transfer students that you can connect with, since you and have those similar experiences, we have those veteran resource centers that you can get in contact with. Our Academic Resource Center has a transfer success program and an actual dedicated space called our Transfer Success Zone that you can use. And even within that, they coordinate workshops like time management, how to prepare for grad school as a transfer student. So those things that you may not think that you need right off the bat, but are really important tools, not only to help you be successful and finish your degree, but help you continue to prepare for that next step after you graduate UCR. And speaking of that next step and graduating, we also have a really amazing career center that I think goes above and beyond and giving students the opportunity to prepare for that next step. Whether that's, graduate school, that next step, or your career is that next step. So we host 15 annual career fairs and special programs for our students. We bring in a, in-person environment employers to campus where they come looking to recruit UCR students for internship positions or even jobs for students after graduating. I've heard a lot of students that have taken internships, have built those relationships with those employers, and have jobs waiting for them even before they graduate their senior year at UCR. And so having that connection, building that network is super important to get you to that next step career-wise, or even, graduate school as well. They offer other workshops like how to write a resume, how to interview. They'll do where you can make an appointment to meet with a career center counselor, and you can practice your interview skills and have that recorded. So you know what your demeanor is as you are preparing and honing in those interview skills. There's also tons of ways to stay active on campus. We have over 500 student organizations. So not only do you want to use those resources for transfer and for, staying on top of your coursework, but it's also really important to get involved and to build that network of friends, build that support system as well. So whether that's joining a student organization, sororities and fraternities, or even having fun, like our concerts for Block Party and Spring Splash. We have our ethnic and gender programs. So programs like our Chicano student programs, African American student programs, our Middle Eastern student programs, LGBT Resource Center, undocumented student programs. All of those centers specialize in certain, and focus on providing resources for students that identify with either that gender or that identity, but you're not required to only identify with that specific, African American student programs or Chicano student programs. They're open to anybody. So, and they provide additional resources like a space on campus for you to hang out. Some of them will even have, book borrowing programs or have free Scantrons during midterms and finals that you can go and get those resources. So again, there's a lot of ways to get connected, to build your community at UCR, which is, in my opinion, super important for being successful. A couple more things. So importantly, and the biggest elephant in the room is the cost. So I know a lot of you may be thinking, well, UC is too expensive. And That's something that I've heard a lot, but let me tell you that UC actually ends up being very affordable. Of course, that does depend on what you qualify for, but we have programs like the Blue and Gold Opportunity Program, where for any student, if your family income is less than $80,000, you can qualify to have your system-wide tuition covered. So for UCR, our tuition and fees is about $15,000 for the year. So that's 3/4 the full academic year. UC system-wide fees are 12,000 out of those 15. So if you qualify for Blue and Gold, you can have those $12,000 covered. And that's a huge chunk of cost of attendance that you don't have to worry about. And if you qualify for more aid on top of that, you can get more aid. And the best thing about it is there's no additional application. As long as you submit your FAFSA application or your California DREAM Act application, we automatically look to see if you qualify for that program. And this is a UC system-wide program. So even if you decide not to come to UCR, if you go to another UC campus, you can still be considered for that program. Now to talk about admission. So now you know about our amazing programs, our opportunities to get involved, our resources. Now, how do you get to UCR and get to the UC system? So I like to break it down and make it very simple and tell you to remember 4 things. 4 things that you need to transfer to the UC system. The first thing is units. So you need a minimum of 60 transferable semester units to transfer as a junior. Second thing is GPA. Now, system-wide minimum GPA is a 2.4. That's the minimum eligibility GPA that we need to look at you for admission. Now, that does vary campus to campus and major by major. So you want to make sure to pay attention to the campuses that you're interested in transferring, find out what that campus's minimum GPA is, if it might be higher, and if there's a specific GPA that you need for your major. But minimum eligibility is a 2.4. For UCR, many of our majors do only require a 2.4 to be considered. Third thing is general education. Now, for general education, I'm talking about the UC 7 course pattern. This is our minimum general education pattern to be considered for admission. You can complete IGETC. IGETC is not required for admission, but it is recommended for some majors. And if you do complete IGETC, that does cover that 7 course pattern. So keep in mind that they are 2 different things, but you can use IGETC to satisfy that admissions requirement and also clear your gen ed once you transfer. One word of caution though, if you are a STEM major, so engineering or science major, and you're looking to transfer, you actually want to focus on the 4th thing, which is your major preparation. And those are the classes that you need specifically for your major to transfer over completing IGETC. So again, units, GPA, 7 course pattern, and major prep are the 4 things that you need to consider and prepare for to transfer to UCR. We have resources like the Transfer Admission Planner that will help you plan and prepare and track to make sure that you are on track to meeting those requirements. UCR uses the Transfer Admission Planner to provide transfer advising for students. So we can look over your account, let you know where you stand to transfer. Are you meeting requirements? Do you have any requirements left? And it also becomes the tag, which is our transfer admission guarantee. So we are one of the 6 campuses that does participate in tag. It's a guaranteed admission. It's very similar to our general admission requirements with the exception of 2 things. There's a higher GPA requirement and certain classes need to be done by certain semesters. So if you are interested in applying for tag and you're looking to apply for a term that's not with fall 2021, if you haven't already submitted your tag application, that deadline has passed. But we are open for tag for fall and winter for UCR. UCR is open for winter admission. We're one of the few UC campuses that are. So if you need that extra semester to get some more requirements in, to finish out your units, or to get that major prep course in, we do have that mid-year transfer in winter that you can consider if you want to transfer to UCR. And with that, so we are in the application filing period. If any of you are planning to apply for fall 2021, now is the time to submit your application. You have through November 30th to get that in. Make sure as you plan to apply that you gather all your information like exam scores, if you took IB or AP exams, that you have all your transcripts. And I definitely recommend writing out your personal insight questions. out on a separate Word document just so that you can copy and paste them once you're ready to get to that section, because our application does time out, so you don't want to lose that information. And with that, a couple more important dates and deadlines aside from the November 30th deadline. For fall 2021, we start notifying students of their decisions in early March. We do have a Highlander Day that we plan, which is kind of our open house for admitted students, so you can learn more about the campus. And if you are admitted, you do have to commit to attend our campus in the fall once you decide where you do want to attend. And that third deadline is June 1st. So with that, I want to thank you all for joining and for wanting to learn more about the Riverside campus. If you have any questions, you can always email us at transfer@ucr.edu. I will also share my direct contact information with you all. I am currently the rep for MSJC, Mount San Jacinto College. We do have another rep as well. Her name is Diana Medina, but she's currently out on leave. But any one of us in the transfer team, we are more than happy to answer your questions. And actually, Diana Medina is an alumni of MSJC. So she has gone through what you've gone through, has transferred to UCR, and she has a lot of really great experience to offer. So with that, again, I want to thank you all for joining. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. Oh, Jessica, you're on mute.
Sorry, I have a couple questions I would like to ask for students. These are questions that students tend to ask me. So coming from a semester system, UCR is a quarter system. What piece of advice would you give a student who is transitioning or looking at, to apply to a quarter system, and they transfer to a quarter system? What piece of advice would you give them?
That's a great question. So speaking from personal experience, it definitely is a transition to go from a 16-week to a 10-week term. One of the biggest surprises is not so much the rigor of the classes. Students are definitely prepared. It's the pace. So getting used to a faster pace of, I'll give you an example. I started out as a bio major, and in week 3, we already had midterms. So definitely time management is key, making sure that you have a planner, that you plan out your term, make sure you know all of your dates and deadlines for quizzes, for when assignments are due. But my other piece of advice is use the resources. Use resources like our Transfers First, like our transfer transition programs, our academic resource center, because not only, like I said, do they do workshops on time management, but it helps you build that network, connect with other transfer students so you can build a study group and keep yourselves accountable. It can be really lonely. I kind of did those things that you shouldn't do. I would go to class and go back to my apartment and not socialize, thinking that I could do the same thing I did before. And I'll be honest, it did not work out for me. And once I got involved and I started building those networks and time management, planning out my day and when I was going to study, that's really what turned it around for me.
And UCR has a transfer center. Have you seen a change with transfer students, getting more involved, just with with the big transfer center that you guys built?
I think so. And I think that's definitely, as the campus has grown and as we've looked to provide more resources for transfer students and putting that out there, I think once students know that that's there and it's available, I think as students start to use it more, the word kind of spreads. And so and there's like a dedicated space where you can go and use it, as a study space. That's where the workshops are done. We even have a transfer and commuter lounge where you can, hang out, warm up your food. So yeah, I would definitely say that as the years have gone by, as the programming has been developed a little bit more, more transfer students are utilizing those resources.
Perfect. And then we have a student who has a question. Her name is Gabby, and she had a question about application fees and then the fee waiver. So if you could just provide some information in regards to the for students applying for fall.
So for the fee waiver, UC does have a fee waiver that you can apply for right on the UC application. So once you get to the very end, right before you're ready to submit, there is the option to apply for the fee waiver. It's very, very simple. You're really just putting in your income and your household size. I'm not sure exactly what the thresholds are, but once you put that in, you immediately are notified if you qualify for the fee waiver or not. And if you do qualify for the fee waiver, you can apply to 4 campuses for free. So it's one application for the UC system, but you do have to pay a $70 fee for every campus that you apply for. If you qualify for the fee waiver, you can apply to 4 of those campuses for free. If you apply to more than 4, then you do have to pay for that $70 fee on outside of the 4 that you applied. So if you apply to 5, you get 4 for free, and then you have to pay $70 for that 5th one. But again, that fee waiver is right on the application. You're notified immediately. So even if you don't think you're going to qualify, just submit that fee waiver, see if you get it, because you never know.
Thank you. And then what about, I have another question. What about the SIR fee, the student intent to register? How much is that fee? And then in the event a student can't pay, what can they do, or how can they provide proof that they're unable to pay, or what, what are their options?
Yeah, so the statement of intent to register, again, that is the commitment that you will be attending our campus in the fall. And along with that commitment, there is a tuition deposit, or the SIR fee that we also have students submit. It is a $250 fee. So it can be a little bit pricey, but also, again, that is a commitment to attend our campus. For some students, that fee can get deferred. So we don't waive the fee, but it can be deferred so that it gets billed instead with your fall tuition. So if you do receive financial aid, your financial aid money can go towards paying your tuition and that SIR fee. So in most cases, you don't end up having to pay for it out of pocket. You can use your financial aid to pay for it. For some students, depending on, sorry, that's my daughter. Depending on if that's not automatically deferred for them, some students can contact our office and request a deferment. And so we'll go ahead and work with that student individually to, if there's any additional information that we request, we'll request them directly, and then we can go through that process and help them out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions, Amy?
Sorry, no, that was it.
Okay.
Thank
Perfect.
you so much, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica.
No problem. And again, I will share contact information for those that want to reach out to me directly.
Thank you. Hello, Vincent.
Yes.
Hi.
All right, let me see. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Vincent. I work in the transfer admissions at Cal State San Marcos. So we have a recruitment and outreach office, and we also have a transfer admissions office. So I work in the transfer admissions. So today I'll heavily cover more so the transfer requirements, but first I'll share you some information about our campus. I have a 1-minute video to share with you, and then we can talk about the transfer admission, and we'll answer your questions. All right, so first I want to talk about some of our popular majors on campus. We have kinesiology, nursing, business administration, criminology, and communication. These are popular majors. Later on, I'll talk about impaction. Many of our popular majors, for example, the business administration, communication, kinesiology, they're impacted, meaning we get more qualified students than we can admit for these majors. So therefore we check, we have additional requirements for them, and we get a little bit stricter for those. And currently we have just about, just a little over 16,000 students on campus. So you still get that small feel where you're on campus, and our classroom size generally just about 40 or so. So I would say it's roughly about similar to your classroom size at MSJC. And location, we are just about 45 minutes from downtown San Diego. If you've been to Oceanside, we are about 15 minutes or so from the Oceanside Pier. All right. And here's the quick video that will show you the campus, and then we'll talk about the transfer admission requirements. All right, our campus is one of the newest CSU. Our campus was founded in 1989. Currently, there's 23 CSU campuses, and we are one of the newest. And I just want to point out on here that a lot of our students, after they graduate, the majority stay in the region, and they get jobs, and they stay here close to our campus. All right, and I here want to cover resources that we have on campus. When I talk to students, whether it's appointments or I just want to emphasize the importance of working with your academic advisor once you are admitted. Once you submit your intent, definitely you'll have access to the academic advisors. You can start working with them, especially if you have questions about changing majors, or if you have just want to get on the right track and take the correct courses, or if you transferring with an associate degree for transfer, then it's really important to work with your academic advisors so you can make sure that it's a similar degree and go from there. And our Veterans Center as well, a really good resource. Any questions, we have staff answering calls every day, as well as if you're unsure, you can always call the admissions office or the registrar's office as well, and we can guide you as to which resources that may be more helpful. And we have a team answering calls every day. And additional programs, EOP, we have TRIO, ACE Scholars. Again, these programs, many of them offer academic advising. They also may offer scholarship assistance. So just make sure that once you're admitted, once you're on campus, when we get back on campus, reach out to these resources. The EOP application is an option to on the application. When you apply, you can already apply for EOP, or you can contact their office after you've been admitted as well. All right. All right, and I just want to cover housing really quick. We are still considered generally a commuter school, but we do have 2 student housing on campus. We have the newer one, the Quad, which is the one across the street from campus, and we have the University Village Apartments. That one is a little bit closer. They are apartment style housing. So if you're used to cooking, or you can certainly continue to do that if you live on campus. All right, and we are NCAA Division 2. We currently have 13 sports. If you are interested, you can go to CSUSMCougars.com and just kind of read more about the teams on there as well. All right, now I want to talk about the transfer admission requirements. As I was saying earlier, I work in the transfer admissions, so this is the area that I want to focus on a little bit more and make sure that you have the information when you're applying and the requirements that we are looking for. All right, so first off, you would apply at CalState Apply. Currently, we have the fall 2021 application open. It is open from October 1st through December 4th. The deadline was extended for this fall 2021. So for fall 2022, that December 4th may change, but the application should open on October 1st. All right, and local service area, I want to make sure that I cover this. It's important because the way our school is set up, or the CSU in general, we're supposed to give priority to our local students. So if you're local and you have the requirements, you will get priority. And if we still have space, then we would consider students from out of the area. So Mount San Jacinto College is definitely our local school. From there, we have Palmer College, Miracosta, and Imperial Valley College as well. All right, admission requirements, at least 60 college level units. So for this requirements, we have the minimum CSU eligibility requirements, and for those, we don't make any exceptions. But currently, to be an upper division transfer, you need at least 60 college level units. Your GPA needs to be at least 2.0 or higher. For our majors that are impacted, the GPA is a little bit different. So for example, we have the business administration. For that program, you need at least a 2.65 GPA, okay? And then you need to be in good standing with your last school of attendance. Make sure you're completing your general education and your major preparation courses, especially for those majors that are impacted. If you're missing one of the major preparation courses, that may be a reason for your application to be denied. So definitely work with your transfer counselor at your current school, in this case MSJC, and make sure that you are on track to complete your general education and your major preparation courses, because those are important, okay? And all of these requirements, you need to have them done by the end of spring. If you are taking additional courses in summer, you can certainly transfer the courses for credits, but when we're looking at the admission requirements, we will only count courses that you have completed or in progress to be completed by the end of spring, okay? And I mentioned impaction earlier. These are some of our impacted majors: biological science, biotech, business administration, we have engineering, software engineering, and nursing. These are more impacted because we get more applications than we get more qualified students than we can admit. Therefore, definitely those major preparation courses, general education courses are really important because we will be checking for those. And if you're missing any major preparation courses, we potentially will be denying your application, okay? And here I want to go over the associate degree for transfer, or ADT. If you are applying with an associate degree for transfer, we will give you first priority when we're evaluating applications, okay? It does need to be similar. So make sure that you work with your counselor or use the A degree with the guarantee.com website to check that it is similar. If it is similar, you'll get first priority. for the space that we have. And then after that, we'll look at students who have the major preparation and the general education completed. So essentially, associate degree for transfer for our local students, you'll get first priority, and then from there we'll go to out of area if we have space. All right, you go to the next screen here. Financial aid. When the application is open for admission on October 1st, after the application is open, the California DREAM Act application is open, as well as our CSUSM General Scholarship application is open. So as you're applying for admission, definitely make sure you're applying for, you're submitting your application for FAFSA, the DREAM Act application, and General Scholarship. Once you fill it out, and it'll go directly to our financial aid department. They will contact you if they need additional documentation. Generally, there is a small percentage of students who are selected for verification. If you happen to be one of them, the financial aid office will definitely be asking for a few documentation from you. So just watch out for that. Our main communication is email. If you opt in for text messages with financial aid, you'll get text messages and emails. But for the admissions office, we heavily use email for communication with students. All right, just want to summarize what we went over quickly here for the deadlines. So application, October 1st through December 4th, you can submit your admissions application. From October 1st through March 2nd, make sure you are filling out your FAFSA and your general scholarship application for CSU San Marcos as well. Okay, November through April, that's when we start sending out admission notification. For our school, we have two sets of transcript requirements and deadlines. For the first round of transcript is February 15th. We'll be using your official transcript as well as your self-reported information to give you an admission status. And in April, we'll have an open house event. If you're admitted, you'll be getting emails with additional information for that one. May 1st is the deadline to submit your intent to enroll, followed by our second round of transcript deadlines, which is your final transcript. And that one is due July 15th. And keep in mind here, if you're applying with an associate degree for transfer, definitely make sure that your associate degree for transfer or ADT is posted on your transcript here. Because ADT for us is part of the admissions process. So if you apply with an ADT, it needs to be posted on your July 15 transcript. If it's not posted, or if it's not on that final transcript, then we would not be verifying you for ADT. All right, so again, if you're admitted, you'll be getting additional information about our open house. And this is the information for our Office of Recruitment and Outreach, as well as the office where I work, which is the Office of Admissions. Feel free to give us a call anytime. So saying we have a team of staff answering calls. We'll be happy to answer your questions. And if needed, our staff can always transfer your call to an admissions officer for to answer your questions if you have very detailed questions. And I have the information on here for financial aid as well. And now I'll be, thank you for listening, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Jessica, you're on mute.
I have a question. So in regards to
Sure.
In regards to the ADT, so we are a feeder school for San Marcos, Cal State MSJC. If a student, if their ADT isn't deemed similar how would that affect them, being that they're coming from MSJC?
Okay, so if their ADT is not deemed similar, if for that specific program, if we don't have, if there's not an ADT that's similar, then they would be, we would be checking their general education and lower division courses, which are the major preparation courses that the students can see on assist.org.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
then-
if there's no, if we have a major, for example, kinesiology, it's not similar to any ADT in at California community colleges, then students will get first priority still because they're local and there's no similar ADT for that program. So heavily, it's going to be their major preparation courses and the general education courses.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And then there's a question regarding to nursing. Grace has a question. She's asking, you mentioned that you have stricter requirements for certain majors like nursing, for example. Does this also apply to accelerated nursing programs? So I know this is a question geared more towards the Temecula campus because they do have the accelerated program there. Do you know off the top if what their GPA they're looking for?
I do not for the accelerated nursing. It is an extended learning program. The one that we have at the main campus is the traditional BSN. For the traditional BSN, generally the average GPA ends up being right about 3.5 or so, but we don't have a specific GPA requirement for nursing.
Okay.
But I would say if the GPA is 2.0, it would probably be harder to get into nursing, but our average ends up being just over 3.5.
And that's for the main campus though?
That's for the main campus.
Okay.
For the extended learning campus or the accelerated program, for their campus, because our self-support campus, for the major is not considered, it's not as impacted as at the main campus. So their requirements is a little bit different, and they do have a team of advisors there as well that can answer student questions. So they can definitely reach out to extended learning and work with an academic advisor there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. And then one other question that we also gave to Jessica was the cost of the application, fee waivers, as well as the SIR. When students submit their SIR, and they're unable to pay, what are their options?
Okay, yeah, the options are during the application, there will be several questions that the students will be answering to determine if they get a fee waiver or not. If they don't get a fee waiver there, we have another option where they can submit an appeal to our campus if they go to our admissions website, and we'll get that reviewed and see if they can get a sort of a refund that way.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then up next, we have Alejandra from Cal State San Bernardino.
Hi everyone, my name is Alejandra Quintero. I am an admissions counselor and recruiter for the Office of Admissions at Cal State San Bernardino. Like Jessica mentioned, would I be able to share my screen, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I will be sharing my screen. And I hope you guys can see it. So today, we're going to talk about CSUSB and requirements and some of the impacted majors and some student services and resources, as well as some financial aid. I will conduct the Q&A at the end. So if you guys can hold your questions at the end, that'd be great. So our mascot, it is the coyote. Our student populations, we serve about 21,000 students our main campus, and about 16,000 students are at Palm Desert campus. Our transfer GPA is a 3.1, and student to faculty ratio is 29:1. This is pretty good for a public and for your institution, because this will give you opportunity to have more interactions with your professors and have opportunity of having more of that one-on-one. And our first generation college student, it is 81%. This is also important because the majority of, if not all, our programs and resources are based on this fact that they're students that we serve in our institution are the first members of their family to go to college. And we are one institution with two campuses, one in San Bernardino and the other one in Palm Desert, California, which is in the Coachella Valley. So for all our Coachella Valley folks, we have a campus for you out there as well. We have more than 70 programs at CSUSB. We offer about 16 programs fully at the Palm Desert campus, but more than 70 are San Bernardino campus. Most popular programs are nursing, kinesiology, psychology, biology, cybersecurity as well. So some of the popular majors that we have. Our business program has more than 10 concentrations that you can actually select from, and our cybersecurity program is one it's one of the top on the nationwide. So and that actually that major, it has 100% job rate. So once you get out with that, it's guaranteed that you will have a job. These are some of the programs that are only for our Palm Desert campus, just as hospitality and design studies are only offered at the Palm Desert campus. So when you are applying to one institution, you have access to both campuses. So it's not there is a different, because a lot of students have that question, think that they have to apply separately from the Palm Desert campus and the San Bernardino campus. So no, it's just one application. The only you will select on the application depending on the major and the campus that you want to go to. Okay, so our campus is considered an impacted campus. This means that more qualified students are applying to our institutions than the students that we're able to accept. And with that, we have 5 impacted majors, which is criminal justice, social work, kinesiology, the allied health profession, psychology, and nursing. Nursing, I believe, is impacted everywhere, but what this means is that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not be able to get into these programs. It's just that our requirements are higher than the other non-impacted majors. So let's say, for example, GPA for psychology, the minimum GPA is 2.7 for our local students. And for nursing, it's 3.5, the minimum GPA. And for non-impacted majors, as long as you have a 2.0 for local students, you that's the requirement if your major is not impacted. Okay. Since we're talking about requirements, let's go ahead and talk about the requirements for our transfer students. So for transfer students, you need a minimum of 60 transferable semester units. I believe your college, it is in semester systems, so you need 60 transferable units. Okay, so you just have to make sure they're transferable. And you need your golden 4, which is your what we call the 4 basic skills, which is your English, your college math, your oral communications, and your critical thinking. If you are receiving an associate's degree to transfer, what we call an ADT, it's most guaranteed that you have these requirements, and then you also will get a GPA bumped in your when you're doing your admissions process. So if you have that, that's great. Okay, so this is if you are in quarters. So let's talk about financial aid. Let me put everything there. Sorry. Okay. So our tuition is pretty affordable, like I mentioned to you before. we are considered a local institution for you. So which this means that you and that's also for the requirements. So if local means depending on the school that you are attending, the last attended. So if you're considered local for an institution, you get priority for admissions for that, for us in this case. So for tuition, it works the same. You are considered local and a California resident, so then you won't have to pay out of state fees. And our tuition is about $7,000 per academic year. That's about $3,500 per semester. And this is only including tuition for in-state tuition. And more than 70% of our student population receives some type of financial assistance. So don't forget to apply for your FAFSA or your DREAMAC application. We receive federal and state grants as well as scholarships, private scholarships that students are able to received and able to use it towards their tuition. The application for the FAFSA, it is opened already, and the priority deadline is March 2nd, as well as for the DREAMAC application. Okay. So we are considered an NCAA Division II sport institution, and we're really recognized by our basketball and our volleyball teams. And we offer different type of housing. The housing is only located for the main campus, which is the San Bernardino campus. We offer from private living to dorms. So and we don't have a housing for the Palm Desert campus, but we do have 4 type of livings on the main campus. This is only some of the services that we offer for our students and our institution. So we have from advising and academic services, where you can they can help you create an educational plan or a degree plan, as well as a career center where they prepare you not only to explore your major, but they prepare you for the workforce. So they can help you with the resumes, cover letters, and they can also do mock interviews with you to prepare you once you are actually ready to start looking for a job. We also have the opportunity, the Education Opportunity Program, which is known as EOP, or it's similar, which is almost the same as EOP-NS, I believe it is at a community college, where you receive extra counseling, advising, and financial assistance. So we always recommend our students to apply to that program. This application is actually embedded in the Cal State Apply application as well. It is not mandatory for you to submit it, but we always recommend our students to do so, so that way they have the opportunity to be part of this program. Additional resources that we have for our students is such as the Undocumented Student Success Center, where all our DREAM students or AB 540 students are able to receive help with extra advising, as well as legal advice for them, and help filling out their DREAMAC application. We have a writing center where you could get help in your papers and other type of resources that we have. And this year's looks a little bit different with everything going on, but also CSUSB offers many of activities and events for their students on our campus, such as concerts, fair style fest, and a lot of events. And we are hopeful that we're able to welcome you guys in the near future for this event. So we have in the past Kevin Hart, Julio Iglesias, and others that have performed are in our campus. So so how do you apply for CSUSB? So the application is fully online through calstate.edu/apply. It has been opened, and in the deadline it's that's for financial. It's December 4th. And some of the things that you should have with you to make this application smoother is your unofficial transcript, annual income, your social security. If you're considered dependent still, then you will still need your parents' information as well. So it's just parents' income, okay? And dependent students, because some of the students think that, oh, the majority of our community college are independent, but some are still dependent. So you're considered dependent when you turn 25, or you are legally married or have a child that you support more than 51%. So if you have all those, then you will consider independent. Otherwise, you're still dependent. Okay. And that's the same thing for your financial aid application. Make sure you include your citizenship status. So, and also for transfers, your campus ID. And this application have a $70 fee. If there is a fee waiver at the end of the application that you could qualify, that's why we ask for annual income. So it's see if you qualify for this fee. If you qualify for this fee, you can apply for up to 4 institutions for free. So you can apply you can apply to our 23 UCs in California if you want in the same application. But you can only apply to one program per institution, okay? Another thing that you should know about this application is that I forgot what I was gonna say. But just make sure you've completely filled everything on the application, because if you are missing some of your golden 4 or some of the minimum requirements, it will be a automatically denial. And when that happens, then you will have to submit an appeal, and it will be the process will be longer versus just completing everything at once. Okay. And I know I have loaded a lot of information. Maybe you have a lot of questions. So this is my contact. I'm right here. But also I'm providing you with my colleague contact in case I don't, respond to you or something if you need immediate assistance. This is our team at San Bernardino, and you're more than welcome to reach to us. And you can take a screenshot or I actually will provide my contact information as well in the chat, so you can have that as well. And that's it for me. So we'll leave it up to open questions. Thank you.
Hi, it's Jessica. I'm going to give you the same questions I gave to
Yes.
Vincent and to Jessica from UCR. Okay, so my questions for you are, what is the, well, the first question is dissimilar. So in the event an ADT is dissimilar, how will Cal State San Bernardino view their application when they're coming from Mount San Jacinto College?
Okay, let me see if I understand the question correctly. So if they don't see an ADT, like let's say that they have an ADT in psychology, and we don't have a major, if we wouldn't have a major in psychology, right? So how do we see the ADT? We will still give credit to the bump in the GPA, and we'll still get, because what we're looking for in this case is just the requirements for admission. So an ADT guarantees them the requirements, which is the 60 and the golden 4, right? So what it helps in this case, if they have, let's say, at the same major with the same ADT, is it's gonna look good under a program for those impacted majors. But other than that, we give them the credit, the bump in the GPA. For non-impacted, it's 0.2, and for impacted major, it's 0.1.
Okay, perfect. And then another question in regards to the application fees. So what are the application fees for students applying for fall or for spring? If Cal State San Bernardino accepts for the spring, what are the application fees? And then the fee waiver, how do they go about applying for the fee waiver? And then also a third question is the SIR. So what is the cost for students to commit or to submit their SIR? And in the event they're unable to pay, how can they go about it?
Okay. So this year was the first year in so long that we accept students for the spring. Hopefully we'll continue to do that. We're not sure how is that going to go for the next academic year. But for fall of 2021 applications, like I mentioned, there is a $70 fee for the application process. That is directly to see the CSUs. So we know that there are different things going on and there are different circumstances apparently this year. So we are asking our students to email us directly if they have like reasonable reasons of why they can't pay the fee if they don't qualify for that fee waiver that it's embedded in the application. So I will provide you with that email because we have a specific team that looks over to those students that are requesting a fee waiver. And if you get granted that fee waiver, then you will get a code for the application or a coupon code that you will enter in the Cal State Apply application, and that will waive your fees, even though you didn't qualify for the fee waiver at that. But then first communicate with us first. That's the same thing for the confirmation deposit. So to able to accept your admissions or your admissions decision, you have to, for CSUSB, you have to do it at $100 confirmation deposit. The confirmation deposit goes straight to your tuition. So it's not like it's lost or anything. It goes to your tuition. In the case that you're not, because if you don't do this confirmation deposit, you're not able to register for orientation. And if you're not able to register for orientation, then you won't be able to register for classes and so forth, right? So basically, if you are thinking, okay, I can do this $100 deposit, then also email us and see if we're able to waive that for you or help you until you receive your financial aid. So it is important for you to have your financial aid completed so we can determine if you're eligible to waive that fee as well as the confirmation deposit, because we look at your financial aid application, because your financial aid application creates an EFC, which is estimated family contribution. It is a number that it's created in that application. And we looked at that number to determine if you have the need. And if you do have the need, then we'll grant you those waivers. So please contact us, email us, and always the best advice is if you have a question, if you have a concern, please contact us or reach out to us so that way we're able to assist you.
Okay, awesome. And then one last question that I didn't ask them that I should have asked. I just realized it right now. So with COVID going on and students are applying for fall, so we're anticipating on going back on campus in the fall. So should they still just plan for housing if they're interested in housing, or how is that going to, how are you guys conducting housing?
Yeah, right now we are offering housing for our students. We are advising our students to prepare for housing, to still conduct and to plan as if we're going to be face-to-face. In the case this doesn't happen or we're not able to go back on campus, they won't, if you have already a contract with housing, then that contract, it's not going to affect you in any shape, way, or form. So if you have done a deposit or anything like that, they are willing to work with you in getting that back or to expand that for the next term. So definitely reach out to our housing department so you can get more information on that as well. One of the best friends that I will say that you will have, it's our website. So all this information, it is in our website. So if you look through our website and to search and navigate to the website, then you will find a lot of those answers.
Thank you so much. I think we lost Jessica. For some reason, it logged her off.
Oh.
But thank you so much. Let me just check and make sure we don't have any more questions on our live stream. Okay, doesn't look like we have any more. So I want to thank all of you guys for participating today. Thank you. And just to remind our students that each school has left contact information. If you guys should have any additional questions, you can reach out to San Marcos, UC Riverside, and San Bernardino. And we want to thank you guys again. And we look forward to having our students reach out to you guys.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course.
Thank you.